welcome to At the Tap End again. We've just gone 1:30 on Monday, the 25th of October. And improvement is what the majority of my network do, the majority of my network talk about. So I thought, well let's have a conversation about improvement. And the gentleman that I'm going to have a chat with today, I think I first met a good number of years ago when I worked in the public sector. So, Mr. Tony Lorne, welcome to the Tap End. How the devil are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Lee.
Good. It's been a good. Really good actually. It's been a good few years since we met and actually talked properly. We've both got a little grey hair, I see.
Yeah.
So, who is Tony Lorne, and how has he got to the Tap End today? What do you do, Tony?
Okay, so I head up TML. It's a consultancy that works with large and SME type businesses in the manufacturing and healthcare sectors. And basically, we help them drive efficiencies.
Yeah, perfect. How long have you done what you do for?
Oh, now there's a good question. How long have I done what I've done? Since 1996 in total, but with TML since 2008.
Right, wow. So
I crossed the threshold from internal consultant to external.
Yeah, for a bit of experience there then, Tony, for a bit of experience.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. And when we were talking about this, you've got three foundations, haven't you? Or three fundamentals, or three things that you believe underpin either operational excellence or success or business capability. I guess what are these three things, and why are these three things so important to you, Tony?
Yeah, but basically, when organisations are trying to drive efficiency through their businesses, we feel that these three fundamental foundation blocks, we call them, are specifically required. One is visual management. Second is workplace organisation, and the third is standard work.
So just on those three things then. So because there's a whole host of things that when because as you know, as a former internal and then external improvement person, we're sheep dipped and trained in all sorts of different tools, techniques, and problem solving and all loads of stuff. Why are those three things the foundations for you?
Okay, well, firstly, we believe no one goes to work to do a poor job. And we also believe that with guidance, people can discover how to learn the whole of their business and add value and drive out wastes. So why do we feel that they are the fundamental foundation blocks? Purely and simply because it gives them a visual communication tool. It also gives them a systematic approach to removing the 8 wastes. And it also gives them a documented best current method of carrying out a task, whatever their tasks are, whatever job they do.
So before you, or when you start to engage with people, how do you get them to agree to these three things, or to see the benefits of these three things? And because if they're going, okay, we're bleeding money, or we're not improving, or what kind of narrative and conversation do you have to kind of create the need for these three things?
Yeah, good question. But basically, when we've mapped the business, because we need to do that first to understand what the current status is. So we've done the map of the business from an end-to-end point of view. We've looked at how the material flows, whether that be physical material or documentation, and also how the information flows. So typical symptoms across the patch of those foundation blocks are there'll be an erratic layout, there'll be a lot of firefighting, people will be working in silos. Through that, there's no clear expectations. Communication challenges tend to be quite on the fore. And because of the poor layout, there tends to be a poor process adherence to whatever processes they have in place. And because of this, you tend to find there's a haphazard workflow and sequence, and that tends in itself to generate a lot of excuses and blame why things are not happening in a timely manner, and more importantly to the quality that their customers expect.
Yeah. So are you not creating more work for people to do? I mean, I know the answer to this, but because we do very similar things, but that's a common objection is, I've not got time to improve. And now you want me to have this meeting or this visual board or these visuals that create more work to create, and then standards and stuff like that. It sounds like a lot more work that you're asking people to do. How do you overcome that?
So one of the ways we overcome that is we say, okay, so a lot of your problems that you're having, you're not driving down to the root cause of those problems, and they tend to reoccur. You know, maybe not month on month, but certainly, you know, a problem that happened last year has probably happened this year. And what the way we engage the people is to say, you know, wouldn't it be better if we could highlight the abnormalities as they occur, rather than, in other words, catching the problem when it's small before it becomes too large and becomes a real blocker to delivering for your customers on time, for example, and also to help them become the owner of their own area and become more sustainable in the way that they work.
Yeah. So when you're talking there, there's a couple. It means something to different people. So the leader may have to change doing what they do. And then the people working the process, that there may be an impact or an activity or two that they require to do. So how do you sell this better world? So in fact, actually, because what I'm thinking is there's loads of organisations, loads of companies now that have just gone through flux. Some successful, some not so successful. They've got a load of different challenges. And you're saying that these three things are the foundations, but it comes after the back of a value stream mapping exercise or some form of knowledge gather that you mentioned.
Yeah, some sort of data collection. Yeah.
Yeah. How do they know that they need a Tony Lorne? What are how do they know they need you?
I think it manifests itself in the symptoms that they're suffering from. So, for example, not delivering to your customer on time, or the quality is having to be reworked maybe at different stages of their process. Yeah. And I guess why they would know that they need us is because they're suffering from a lot of those problems that I talked about before, but they haven't really nailed it down for the whole organization. And what I mean by that is many organizations are able to improve what they do, but not have an impact on the whole. So what they'll do is what we call islands of improvement. So they'll improve one little area of the business, but not realizing it can have a knock-on effect downstream and also a knock-on effect upstream.
Yeah, I love that. I was in a conversation with somebody last week, and they said islands of excellence versus seas of mediocrity, and it's the difference. And how do you create bigger islands rather than larger seas and stuff? Because you're dead right. Some people selfishly motivated, or maybe not selfishly motivated, look after their own little island without necessarily looking through the telescopes at the other potential islands of excellence or improvement. So what I don't want to do is go, everybody needs to have a consultant. But what everybody needs to get support. What things can people do themselves, or what would you advocate somebody to do? Because I'm conscious there's varying different budgets, varying different sizes of businesses, varying different qualities of help. So if you were to offer a piece of advice to somebody now that's seen some of the symptoms about what you're talking about, what steps could they do themselves? What's within their own gift before they go, Tony, give his hand?
I guess it's understanding what their true capability at the moment is, because many organizations have talented people that have not just worked in that organization, but they've come from other organizations where they have been involved in driving out wastes and improving their business. So they bring that wealth of knowledge with them. I guess a piece of advice would be to try and improve it themselves with internal leadership and see where they get to. But you see, you asked the question earlier, one of the main selling points for the people that are involved in the processes themselves is the fact that this makes their job easier in the end.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go through those churns of wondering how have they got to this problem and not being able to get to the root cause.
Yeah. So is it for the people who work the process, or is it for the leaders? And who would you generally start working with or engaging with to make things better, to open their eyes, to change the habits and behaviours? Where would you typically start working?
If it's a transformation or it's a turnaround situation, then it's an holistic approach, and it's a top down, bottom up. So you work with both in conjunction, to be honest.
Yeah.
So there's pieces of work that you can do to engage the workforce that are involved in the processes day by day. They live and breathe it. And then there's activities you can get involved with the leadership to ensure that they can, engage their workforce in a better way by promoting to their people how their people can contribute to the success of the business. Because in many cases, a lot of these organizations, when you start going down to the grassroots level, many people don't know how they can contribute to the success because they've never been involved, or they've never really been tapped into for their ideas, because a lot of brilliant ideas at the grassroots level, for sure.
Yeah, so I like that when you say it's top down and bottom up. It's definitely both. I think one of the things that I see is top down, that it's a lot of words rather than actions. So it's we need to do this. Can you go and do and like setting the, I guess, the order of what they want to try to achieve and the vision, but not necessarily changing what they do, or an acknowledgement of how they have behaved in the past has created some of the situation that people are working in now. How do you get leaders to do different things?
Well, you've just hit on one of the topics there that we certainly get the leaders involved in if it doesn't already exist, and if it does exist, maybe enhancing it to it enables the people at the grassroots level how they can contribute to the success of the business. And that one aspect is the vision. Is that vision clear and shared with people? So in other words, if there's no vision that exists, then that is a perfect opportunity to get everybody involved in the vision of what that business wants to achieve, where that business wants to get to, and making it, when I say clear and shared, making it visual around the whole company. So where they go, what it means from a quality aspect, what it means from a safety aspect, what it means about how they deliver for their customers, etc. All those categories can be included in the vision.
Yeah, love that. And then we just get back to your three foundations, just briefly. What were those three things again?
So visual management, workplace organisation, and standard work.
So how is an organisation different if they've got those three things compared to if they don't have those three things? What do you see, feel, or hear as opposed to when they don't have them?
One of the key things, and one of the real takeaways for every level of the business, is knowing whether they've had a good day. So in other words, they can see how their current status of work actually is compared to the plan. So what did we plan to do today? What did we plan to deliver? What did we plan to develop? It may be new product introduction, but it can be seen visually.
Oh, you went then. Sorry, I lost you for a second there. So it can be seen visually. Having a good day. In fact, actually, Tony, have you had a good day talking to a naked Lancastrian in the bath?
I've had a fantastic day. Yeah.
Right answer while we're still live. So that's part of it, isn't it? Is by understanding, have they had a good day? Have they not had a good day? What can we do to close that and bridge that gap? And workplace organisation was another one of the. What's your definition of workplace organisation, and how does that contribute to having a good day?
Okay, well, the purpose, to start with, the purpose of workplace organisation is to encourage ownership and self-discipline, so that any of their working practices can be sustainable in a standardised way. What it is a systematic approach to removing the 8 wastes and improving their workplace so that it's safe. It's well kept and it's visually managed. So it does link closely with visual management as well.
Yeah, but from an environmental perspective and from a safety perspective, and then your third one was about, because you used the word standards then as well, didn't you? So I can see how all three things link together. You've mentioned a couple of you've mentioned a couple of times 8 wastes, and I know there's some people use 7 wastes, some people use 8 wastes, some people say there's an unlimited amount of wastes, and so. Why do you use 8, and what are these 8, and how do you encourage people understand and then apply these 8?
Well, ultimately, just to specify the difference between some people say 7 wastes, some people say 8 wastes. The 8th waste, which is quite often forgotten about, is the underutilization of people. So it's tapping into the talents that and specifically the latent talents that are there because they're not used like they could be until you go through an improvement program. So the 7 wastes in total, you want me to give you the categories of those?
Yeah, just quickly whistle stop tour, just in case there's anybody there going, he's mentioned these 8
for anyone who wants to try and remember them, there's a quick way of remembering it. It's a guy called Tim Wood. In some organizations he's 5'4", and in others he's about 6'8". So it depends how much waste they've got. Transportation, the waste of transportation, the waste of inventory, the waste of motion, the waste of waiting, the waste of overproducing, over processing, and the waste of defects. In other words, not getting things right first time.
Yeah, and then
the underutilization of people.
Yeah, perfect. I was I observed a session earlier on today, and they introduced they used Tim Woods as well, and what they were trying to get across is that these are just to allow you to ask different questions, to see different things than you might ordinarily have done, and it's a starter, but it's anything really that can help things be safer, quicker, cheaper, easier, faster, funner, and all.
But it's the start of a mindset change.
Yes. Yeah. I like that as well, and it's creating a common language within the organisation so that everybody knows what they're looking for and things like that. No, perfect. So what's next for you, Tony Lorne?
So next is
are you there, Tony Lorne? What's next?
Still here. What's next? So we're going to be working on a strategy for an organisation who want to go through some significant change to improve the efficiency of their business in the aerospace sector. Still there?
Perfect. And if people wanted to know more about Tony, how Tony helps and how TML can help them, where would they go? What would they do? What would they find?
Well, they can find a plethora of information on my LinkedIn profile, but also on our website, which is www.tmlgrp.com. Perfect.
Thanks very much for that. And I asked this on the podcast, not normally in the bath, but what are you having for your tea, Tony?
I believe it's spag bol this evening.
Oh, it's a safe choice for a Monday. What's prompting spag bol on a Monday?
I don't know. I've just been informed that's what was this evening.
you just eat whatever you're given.
Yeah. It's always good quality, so.
And that's the safest way as well, isn't it? That is the safest way as well. I just want to say, Tony, thank you so much for your time joining me in the bath end today. You've kept a straight face completely whilst I've been washing myself, which has been amazing. So thank you so much for joining. Good luck with everything that you've got going on. And just one more time, if people want to find out more about you, where would they go?
So they'll go to www.tmlgrp.com.
Perfect. Cheers, Tony. Look forward to catching up soon.
Catch you again. See you. Thanks, Lee.